Viewer discretion is advised.
I used to be complaining about my lunch. Back in my day, we only had a banana. Now I'm like, here we go. And I went to school there. I'm like, man, my mom wasn't joking about these situations.
Mandate.
Welcome to Mandate, where we navigate fresh perspectives and nothing is off the table. Tonight's guest is from Tāmaki Makaurau, Okilani. In fact, he is from South Okilani, from a place called the Promised Land, also known as 274, but better known to us from the hood as the home of the brave, or Otara. He is a Kiwi hip-hop rapper, artist, and also is also quite entrepreneurial. He also runs his own programs in terms of music therapy, working with our youngins, our young people. The man has also dropped an album called "Cut from a Different Cloth," but also that you'll recognise him by these tracks like "Graduated," "The Real," and also "No Doubt About It," and also recently "Tin City," featuring Sid Diamond as well. And so the man has an amazing story to share. Also a proud son of Samoa. Please put your hands together for Davis, aka The Movement.
Thank you, sir. Love that intro.
Malo love also. Hey, I know we're sitting at the back there, also, and just nostalgic. All the people that we know grew up in the hood. Obviously, we're from Otara as well, so we're all Otara boys, the 274. And so also just proud. I think very proud, to sum it up, very proud of the work that you do, the songs, the tracks, and who you represent, but also proud of who you are as a man, because there's some amazing things you've done thus far. But just to start us in terms of the conversation, before we dive more so into the conversation, also cut from a different cloth. I know that the album has just kind of dropped, but if you can kind of elaborate in terms of what does that mean? Is there some sort of cultural context around it, or is the title of the album something that's special to you, or is it open to interpretation, or what does it mean for you, and the rationale behind it also?
Yeah, thanks for that. Also, "Cut from a Different Cloth" is a very special album. The meaning behind it is, going through all sorts of trauma and anxieties we go through in the neighborhood, that type of stuff, and how we can get through it, and just going through all the emotions as a Polynesian kid, from Otara, and just with all the trials and tribulations that I've been through, and still here, and actually with a whole lot of thick skin now, with a whole lot of experience, a whole lot of life, just with whole lot of growth. That's what it is. So pretty much that. You can hear it within the album, the production, the lyric writing, the content as well, the stories that have been told. So yeah, that's what it pretty much is.
Also. Because I didn't even realize also. I didn't realize you were living in Australia for 10 years, or over 10 years now.
Yeah, quite some time now.
I thought you were still living here and still in the hood, or in somewhere in New Zealand. But coming back. Obviously, you're here for a bit of a stint, but coming back home, coming back into the hood. How has it been for you? Is it like, I know people come overseas, they come back and they go, oh man, people are still the same, doing the same thing. Has it, for you, the experience of being back, has it a different vibe? Has it become more positive in terms of being back in Otara, or is it kind of on the decline, or is it like people are still the same? What are your thoughts and what are your views now?
I think it's still the same, but we have different issues now compared to what we had to face back then when we were here. You can obviously see that the living expenses is quite insane. So just imagine the anxiety of our people walking around, with rent shooting through the roof, MSD not giving you the assistance that you really, really need, petrol prices, vegetables, everything's just insanely high, and, low pay rates, wages, like jobs where you have to work so hard. And then, it's just different issues nowadays. Now, we've got to look out for our kids now. Social media is upon us. The internet's upon us now. So it's a different type of beast now. So we need to change our approach, and we need to find out what's the niche, what we need to do now, because it's different now. It's quite dangerous, but Otara is always Otara. They're being forced to be a community, I'm very aware and aligned with my neighborhood. Even though I'm over in Australia, I get the scoop on what's going on within the streets, even not whatever's not on the street as well. So I'm very aligned with the neighborhood. keeping connected with people. And people think that I'm still in the country because that's how active I am. You know, I keep flying back. I'm with the people. I'm on the floor with everybody. You know, everyone holds me up in a high regard, you know, because what I've able to do, you know, travel the world, do what I love, and come back to the neighborhood, which is, you know, I always remind them, bro, I'm still you. You know, I'm like you, bro. You know, don't forget that. I've just been given opportunities to actually travel the world and see outside of Otara. And pretty much I become a pair of eyes for my brothers and sisters that haven't done that, because I know a lot of my brothers and sisters who are still stuck within the suburb, you know. So, but I totally understand it, you know. So yeah, it's, you know, been a bit of a journey and a half, you know, and it's always good to come back to my neighborhood and just see where I can help, you know, where I can put my hand up or where I can assist in some sort, you know. And what I'm trying to do really is to look after our babies. You know, I'd rather have one of our locals look after our babies. So now, you know, I have gay members turn up. But, you know, these are my friends I went to school with. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm like, drop your kids off, you know. I'll look after they can stay at this workshop for 2 hours. Go do what you need to be doing, you know. Go and do your shopping. Go cook some dinner. I got them, you know. And they're happy, you know. Yeah, people from the locals, you know, the locals are like, you know, grateful that you're here doing these workshops, because it's, you know, I'm revisiting these things with my children. My children are enjoying it so much. And I said, it's the engagement style, really. They're hanging out with their uncle or their older brother, you know, that's what it is. So I just make it fun, pretty much. Yeah. But, you know, Otara's Otara. You know, I adapt. I love my neighborhood. You know, it's a very prideful city. You know, I mean, it's such a small place. But that's all we had. It was a whole lot of pride. So when, you know, we're on the rugby field, we represent Otara like, you know, like it's our last game, or, you know, or
Do or die.
do or die. There's 20 guys there telling you, are you from Otara? Yeah. And it's just me. Yeah, I'm from Otara. Yeah, 20 guys, you have to beat me up. But that's what it is. It's very prideful, you know, for such a small suburb, you know. But still, yeah, I still represent it to this day now.
Death, man,
everywhere I go.
man.
So everyone knows me. Like, you know, if you see moving, you're either wearing an Otara Scorpions jacket, representing, you know, proud to be from Otara or proud to be Samoan, you know. So yeah, you know, love my city for what it is, but I'm there to help out. I'm just one little pillar where there's people that everyone else needs to be helping out as well. So I'm just showing improving. You know, just showing it as being the person of an example. Like, that's what it is. Like, a lot of people are saying, bro, you're doing awesome things. You're doing a lot of stuff for the hood. I'm like, it just stands out because I'm doing it and no one else is doing it. Like, it'll be great if we all jumped on board and push this boat. Like, it'll be a whole lot easier. But, you know, I can't sit there and complain. I just do it, you know.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Also, you are. No doubt about it, also. You are 100% representing our only Samoa, but also Otara. And so what do you think is the case in terms of why others probably kind of like spectate or become spectators and say, oh man, you're doing awesome work, also love what you're doing for ripping the hood. And like you were saying, hey, you can do it as well. What do you think that's the case for some of our people?
I think the fear of judgment, that they think that's weak. But, you know, me, I don't really care about what anyone says about me. You know, I let God do all the judging. You know, I just service my neighborhood. You know, it's just like how people go out and yell out Otara MF or Mangere MF. That's the same thing, but in a different perspective. You're doing real positive stuff. So I'm having a lot of gangsters, patch members come up to me because you're doing the real gangster stuff. And I say, yeah, I am, really. And got to think about it that way. So, you know, I keep going, you know. And I just want to show those guys. But I know it's the fear of judgment, of what other people would say about them. Like, if, I don't know, I find it should be the easiest thing to do, really. You know what I mean? But I guess trying to be straight and is a bit of a mission for others, I guess. But for me, I just feel like it's my calling. You know, I'm here to actually try and service as much as I can while I'm alive here. You know what I mean? I want to make an impact that if I decide to leave this place, they'll know me as a person who's represented as culture, heavy, and Otara represented everywhere, you know, on stage. And just a man of honor and integrity, really. You You know, I'm cut from their cloth, or whatever I say, I have to stand on it. You know what I mean? You know, people can lie and say, cover their back, their lies, all they want nowadays. But I'm from that. You know, I have to follow through. Like, you know, if you didn't follow through back in our day, you get mocked and get teased. You get this, eats, do this. But nah, bro, that's not in my case. I wanted to be about my word. So, and that's why they call me the real. You know, just trying to keep it real as possible. No facades, no. Just being there, man, for the community, just assisting as much as I can.
It's awesome.
Man, that's really awesome to hear how, you know, because you mentioned before neighborhood trauma, and I know a lot of people have different responses to trauma. I know people that have gone through stuff and they avoid, like they would die rather than go back to this place where this trauma happened. And it's just really cool to hear you come back. And I'm curious about, like, did you have, like, where does this value come from, or this heart for giving back to the people or giving back to your community? Where does that come from? Was that something that was role model to you? Did someone inspire you? Or was it just something that's come naturally over time?
Just being tired, really. I've been through so many, just been through life. You know, I've had a lot of losses. And, you know, just bounce back from them, and, you know, during those moments, being still and recording how I'm feeling at the time, and, you know, just trying to change it. You know, like, man, I shouldn't be feeling like this. What's triggering these events? And being still. And that's the only way I could actually tap into that. And when I did, and I'm like, you know, I'm going to require to do something else. I want to do something else to actually get me off this. I sort of tap into my triggers. I'm like, man, I can't be around this anymore. So really, it's just analyzing my feelings, being vocal about it as well, putting up boundaries, learning to say no, and not being a yes man, because I just put too much on myself when I become a yes man. So I really look after my well-being. It's those things like, oh, okay. Like, I could start off in the morning, you know, one of the usos might call me and I just woken up. He might just go 1,000 about what's going on, what's triggering him. And I'm there listening, but sometimes it might be a bit too much. And I'll just tell him, say, hey, Us, I'll call you back. And then we're like, oh, and they'll probably like, oh, yeah, that was a bit too much. I'll call them back in another 15 minutes. All right, cool. So it was quite a lot, but, you know, I'm here. I just... You know, I'm aware of how I'm feeling as well, as much how he is. So what I need to do was stop, pause, and just breathe. And all right, cool. He obviously needs my help right now. He needs an ear. So I try and prep myself and be there for that person, and try and listen to understand, not to listen to have a you know, answer for everything. But you know, I did a lot of unpacking. And during those moments, you know, while I was still, I needed to look for help. And that's starting with being honest to myself, you know, understanding what was going on, the issues that made me feel that way, and being in a space where I could talk about it, you know, and I started seeing therapy. Once I started seeing therapy, you know, I was a little bit sketchy about it. I didn't want people knowing I was going. But then once after my first few sessions, I wanted to tell people I was going. So I said, what are you up to? I'm like prioritizing. I said, no, I got my morning session. He goes, what are you up to? You got to start work soon. I said, no, not my morning sessions. I go chill with my psychologist for an hour and I just tap in. And I'm like, right, you know, but you're all good this morning. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm holding myself accountable. So I'm going to go over there and tell her how great my day is as well, you know. And she's like, all right, cool. And I said, because I know I'm doing this for myself as well. So what I've done is just did a whole lot of unpacking, learning me. Just all of that stuff. And then I just enjoyed it, eh? You know, I started helping people. I started going on energy searches. People were just curious because of my energy I had around. You know, everyone, I just didn't care about certain things that no longer served me. So they were just curious, like, bro, what are you up to on the weekend, bro? And I said, I'm going to go for a hike. With who? By myself. Hey? And I said, I know, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, so where do you go? And I said, sometimes I go to the water. Does water make you feel calm? I said, yeah, it makes me feel calm, bro. So why not? And they're like, yeah, true. I said, yeah. I need to refill my cup. I need to be 100% for everybody that's out there as much as I can. So, but yeah, a whole lot of unpacking, just holding myself accountable, learning myself, just listening really, and trying to be still as much as possible. Yeah, pretty much. If that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, bro. There's so much. You're so self-aware about, where you're sitting and where you're at, and I think that can be such a journey in and of itself. Like just to actually take time to know about yourself, because there's so much pressure on us to perform and to go chase this, go get that, and provide and all this sort of stuff. But actually, how do we provide for ourselves? When do we ever get to sit down and ask ourselves, hey, how are you doing?
That's right.
What do you need today? You all good? Yep. Actually, nah, I'm not all good. And it's just really cool to hear that your journey through this is, going through therapy, getting help. And that's all good. Going out on your own, that's all good. Because I think in today's day and age where everything's so interconnected, sometimes we're afraid to be alone when actually that's what we need.
That's what we need. That's exactly it. And that's another thing, especially in the world of hip hop. Like, it requires a lot of ego and a lot of, you'll have entourages. So you have the people around you like telling you, you're the man, bro. You go up there and you rock that stage, rubbing your shoulders, massaging, bro, you got this, bro. Like all this, but really, you need to find that within yourself, by yourself. So, it's just tapping into that, self-worth. I can go in and someone might have a different perception of me and say, bro, that guy is this and this and that. But obviously the guy doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know what I've been through, the pain that I've been through that took me to get through this healing. So it's okay. They're only carrying this perception of me that they probably thought they knew of me. But that's, everyone is required to an opinion, and that's fine. But it's within yourself that you know your worth. Like, it's all good, They don't know who I am. It's all right. But yeah, maybe that's it's all good. Everyone just sees things differently, and that shouldn't affect you. You should just keep the ball running. That's okay. Either you see them or not, but they're just there just to sort of remind you where you at. So it's all good.
So, that's cool. You mentioned something too that I really, really love, and it was about that accountability to yourself, and that not only through the bad times, not only through the good times, but also through the bad times. It's about being accountable through thick and thin. And I think oftentimes, at least from my own experience, I'll often be accountable when things are good.
Good, yeah.
All good. As soon as things go bad, everything goes out the window, and then you're just, I don't know, wallowing in self-pity or whatever mind fog you've got where you just can't see outside of your circumstance.
Yeah.
So, I really loved that point that you made about that.
Just learning to control what you can control. Because we tend to put our energy onto things that we can't control. We get mad, all these emotions start coming out. But really, we should just focus on what's in front of us. All right, cool, that's happened. What are we going to do now? How are we going to do this? And, it just requires being still and just writing down, all right, cool, we might need to do this, and it's okay. It's just not trying to rush things, just take your time. And that's what it is, bro, really. Just being still, just listening. Just really, really tapping into what's going on and how you could prevent that from happening next time. And, becoming a learning lesson of knowing who you are. And then when you hear these emotions start coming in, becoming triggers, then you know how to react to it. It's, here we go. All right, I need to leave here. And like, why? And it's, there's just something. But you're being aware of your triggers right now, so... these guys might not, but you can revisit later and say, sorry, bro, I had to get out of here. He goes, why? And I said, this happened, this and this and that. I'm like, all good, bro. It's all that. So just being aware of who you are, what needs to be done when those moments happen, and just being still, really.
And just to tangent off that a little bit, how do you teach? Because I'm a teacher by trade, and so my kids are year 7 and 8 at intermediate school. And one of the things, that I always, to me, the values are the most important thing about teaching. Right. We can teach a curriculum all we want, but at the end of the day, if their character is not there, they're going to struggle later on in life. If they have good character, they'll pick up all those other things they want to learn. And things like accountability, I think, are so important to teach young people. But how do you teach something like accountability to the upcoming generation?
Pretty much the repercussions. Hey, and just maybe just really depends on the children you're talking to, really, as well. And be aware of who they are and how you should, put the information out in front of them. But it's really just a whole lot of examples. Like, so if we did this, what would happen if we did that? I'm like, then this happened, but don't remember, well, this would happen. Yeah, that's right. So what do you reckon we should do? And the thing is not telling them what to do, is asking them what they should do. Instead of, no, but you need to do this and that. No. Ask them, what do you reckon I should do? And they're like, you need to do this and that. It's, all right, you know what the answer is. So it's just that pretty much. It's going back to them, just asking them, just pure common sense, just accountability. But how does that make you feel, though? It made me feel better. Right. Cool. And, we just jot these things up. And he goes, man, and a whole lot of praise. That's one thing that we don't tend to do is praise. Awesome work, bro. Good on you, bro. You're smart, man. We need to do that more,
Jeez, I like it. I like it what you just said, also. Because sometimes we often think, okay, the poor kid or whoever, the person you might be talking to or conversing with, I need to help them. Like you're saying, I got a solution. I got to fix this person. But most often, those people we can use them as resources. They have their own solutions to their own problems.
Yeah, that's right.
I love what you said. Hey, no, you can do it. No, you get them to critically think and kind of come up with the solutions for themselves. I love it also. But I just wanted to run it back also.
Yep.
Because you talked about healing, unpacking, and all of that stuff. But I think people might be watching this, the viewers and the listeners, that may be thinking, what did he have to unpack? What was the healing around? So also, if you can run it back, because people might think, I don't know what did the movement go through?
Right.
And so also, I know, because we're from the hood. And so if you can run it back and just give them a bit of an insight of terms of, as the things you did back in the days and where you've come from and all that kind of stuff. Back, it's a bit of a history. I don't want to rehash any trauma, but just to tell them, let them know, hey, man, I've been through the wars. I know what it's like.
Yeah, I've been through all sorts of paths. This is all part of the journey of trying to find who I am. Trying to tap in. I don't know if you're aware of the small town. I'm from Otara. Back in our day, we only had 3 options. The 3 options were: you either pick up a mic, become a musician, pick up a ball, become a sports player, or pick up a gun, become a gangbanger. And I slipped into all those worlds and became good at all 3. But being a musician allowed me to see the other side of the world, allowed me to travel and see outside of Otara. And I used to wonder, because every time when I leave the place, I'm like, man, I feel sorry for my people because they don't see this, they don't get to see this, and they, it's quite out of it. So when I go back with these stories and I talk to our locals, they ask these genuine questions like, what was it like, this and that? And I just tell them, the experiences, this and that. You guys got to get out there and check that out, man. Honestly, there's a world bigger than Otara out there. So it's crazy. I've been in all those worlds. Was an active gang member as well back in the day, which allowed me to, I was a fan of music as well. I was I come from a very religious family. Both parents born in the islands in Samoa. My mother's from Whangaloa in Samamea and Whangaloa Bay, and then my father's from Solo. So, it's just, Samoans flying over, back in the day, migrating over and starting in a new foreign country where there was language barriers, and they got a whole lot of faith and a whole lot of, they're just workaholics. So it was that buzz. So went through the life of gangs, life of crime, became a musician. Also, been through so much. I've lived a life of abuse, the violence, gang violence, you name it, I've seen a lot. Things that I shouldn't have seen as a kid as well. But, you know, it made my skin a whole lot thick, and don't wish that for nobody, you know, for any of my other kids. So what I do nowadays is just give people options, you know, try and help out where I can, be a person of influence, and yeah, just sort of create music now. Now I'm a musician. I've been a musician for 20 years plus, ever since I come out of school, and I'm still here today, still dropping music. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a journey, but a lot of that stuff is you know I had to sort of tap in, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with Samoans and how we were raised, because it's very based on church, but I was raised in a real cultural church, so there was no learnings of the man. It was just going over our heads, and we were only there just to sort of communicate with like-minded brothers who were from the other side of our city, out of our suburbs. So, funny, what did you get up to in the weekend? It's these things. But, it's just being a part of that, going through all of this stuff. So it's been a bit of a journey and a half. So I'm just grateful to be here. To be honest, it really saved my life. I would have been either 6 feet, or I would have been incarcerated if I didn't pick music as my passion. I used to be a OG dope boy back in the day. So if you know some of the trap guys, they will tell you that I used to write music in those places and traps back then. I used to rip out a piece of cardboard and find a pen at the same time while I'm on my shift, trying to make money for my mother. And I'm selling illegal drugs back then, and what it was is, I tapped into writing because I was a fan of music, So every time I was on my shift, you will probably hear music pumping from the whole shift till I go home. And then, they all knew. So I was rapping. I was always writing stuff. I rapped to my other, trap colleagues that were there at the time. So, they used to buzz out and go, bro, what are you doing here? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, bro, you need to get out of here. You need to go out and pursue this music. And shout out to the OGs out there back then that, suggested that. There were moments where I had some shows, and the boys were like, bro, you need to go out there. But I'm just getting ready to start my shift. So the OGs were like, nah, they'll cash me out. They'll pay for everything and go. And I'm like, really? He goes, you need to go out there and represent us. I was like, all right, cool. I'll come back. So I'll go out there, rip the stage up, come back, and they were just asked what it was like. And I said, bro, I ripped this hard up. And that's, that's us back then. That was all, So, just grateful for those people there. I wouldn't had an opportunity. So when I go back to the traps, I'm like, bro, what are you doing here? Go back over there. Go do what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be here. But, grateful for those people, But yeah, been doing that for quite some time now, and still here and trying to help out others, who are trying to pick up a mic as well, or pick up a ball, and just being a brother of assistance, and see where I can help others, where it's required. So, yeah.
So, what a journey! What a journey! So, when you look back now, you think, man, you see you talk about the three options, and obviously the music. And I know people always say, "Oh, yeah, music was my saving grace. Music helped me, kind of save my life." And all that, but it's definitely true for you, like in terms of the music. Yeah,
it's for it. Like everyone knows that. Like, man, Move lucky he picked music because the way he was headed, like everyone knew. Like I wasn't a very pleasant guy back then. I'm a whole lot nicer now, guys, because I got older. So yeah. It's crazy. It's been a journey and a half or so, but grateful, and I wouldn't change it for the world. You know what I mean? I know it's been tough, but we all go through our tough times, but again, tough times make tough people. Yeah. And
Oh man. Much. But what's the key? What's the key to your longevity? Because some people come and go. You have some artists come and go, come in and say, "Oh no, you're getting a bit older now," and so get some of the youngins to come in. But you're still in the game, man. You're still in the game. You're still rapping, and you're just as good, or probably even better. And then some of these cats coming up, and people, and there's much respect for you. I know, there's no, without shadow of a doubt, people respect you. Hey, there goes the movement. There goes Move. And so, also, what is the key for you in terms of why you're still in the game and the longevity?
I think the key is because within the industry, it's a competitive sport, right? The real key is to compete with the guy in the mirror. And you wonder why people put out content and they sort of lack because they're too busy competing with others when they should really compete with themselves. They really need to look in the mirror and get better. Challenge yourself like, hey, what did I do different the last time? All right, I need to upskill my raps. I need to step up the content. I need to level up. Because, you know, in the industry, they say that your first album is your best album, right? Because that's your hungriest. That shouldn't be the case. You should get better every time. And I haven't seen much artists out there. Sorry. I haven't.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry. I haven't seen anyone come out with stuff and level up, keep leveling up in their skill, their craft. So really, it did save my life. And I look at it in that sense of how therapeutic it is and how much it helps me and how it did help me. So, that's what it is. The longevity is focusing on you, upskilling you, just getting better and better at the job. And that's why the album hits the way it does now, because I took my time. I didn't go against I didn't go with the machine, the requirements, the views. I need to do certain things in order for my video clips to pop. I need to do something outrageous in order to get people's attention. I didn't do that. So what I did is stuck to my guns. Like, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to fake it one bit just to get some views and attention. So what I did is I did the opposite. I just kept it real as possible. Like, because I feel like it's true to me. Like, I need to prove it to myself. I'm not worried about other people and what they think about my music. But yeah, it was just that, like, just tapping into how good I can get and what I need to change now. The concept writing. I'm getting too old. I can't be talking about alcohol. I can't be talking about the concepts that I used to talk about. But you know what I mean? And you got artists like Nas now, who drops an album, who did the King Disease album. And the production is great, but the content that he's talking about, the stuff that I want to hear, you know? And it's great. So, you know how they say that hip-hop is a young man's sport? I disagree. Like, the content changes and the crowd, your fan base changes. So there's longevity in it. But again, you need to really look into that man in the mirror and compete with him and just get better and better.
Yeah, man, my Lord levels.
It seems like, were there times where it was quite challenging to stay motivated, or were times where you were like, oh, maybe you thought like, you know, you just have that sort of conflict within your mind about switching things up versus staying on your own path? Were there ever times where it became a little bit hard and you were tempted to sort of
go that route?
Things up? Yeah,
almost, but no, stuck to my guns and went the long route. That's how I went. So never folded, and that's what made me the person I am today, the artist today. So you know, everyone does all those requirements, but I'm like, it doesn't sit right with my heart and my creativity. Like, how would I do this? Like, is that me? I need to question myself again. Go back to that guy in the mirror. Do I do this? Nah. You know what? And you know, if it's good though, like if it does help the product, then yeah, cool. But I'm not really fussed on that type of stuff. You know, I truly believe that you can't deny good music, great music. Like, a lot of people only want people to listen to an album now. But really, people might not, because there's a lot of emotions in this album. Certain people might have engaged to a few of these emotions, but they're yet to discover the other emotions that are in the album. And you can revisit the album probably 10, 20 years later when you go through that emotion, like, is that what the usual was on about? So it's pretty much that. There's a lot of times I felt like it, but again, going back to asking that guy in the mirror, like, does that sit right in my heart? Because that's majority of the calls are done with how my heart's feeling and how it sits in my gut. And Yeah, but I never wanted to worry about what other people think of me. Like, all right, cool. If it's that, it's that, you know. But yeah, I just try and keep it as true as possible. And you know, when they hear me not doing things, like, that's just move. That's he doesn't want to do it that way. That's but you know, that's what makes me special, I guess. Yeah. But you know, but I love the way it is. You know, it's been unfolded because people are just emailing me, calling me, and just telling me how much the album has helped them, and I'm truly grateful because that's the service there. That's what I want to do. Like, I want to touch people's hearts. I want to help out, you know, in some way. And hopefully my music can do that, can do justice for you. So, yeah, pretty much there, bro. But, yeah, man, do you have those moments, bro? But I sit there and watch other people do it. And I'm like, I roll shaking my head. All right, you do it, bro. And when I see them doing it, I say, okay. All right. But it is what it is. So yeah.
But I'm glad you stuck to your guns as well. You know, obviously you're proud of Samoa and you're proud of Otara, and you know the new album has just dropped, but also the past ones, the past tracks. Also, man, you know, and you know, obviously with the new rappers, and you know, we talked about some guys that, early on about talking about life stories and. Which is not even true of who they are and doesn't reflect who they actually are, and all this about money and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, because you're a proud Samoan, and I love the track. One of my favorite tracks is "Graduated."
Oh yeah.
Also, you got to tell us because man, the storytelling in that. Also, man, I was watching it again, and I watched it again this afternoon. I was like, man. And I remember watching it a few months ago, even last year. Yeah. But watching it again, just kind of rehashing my thoughts. Like, man. Just the pride, but also what you went through. If you can just give us a bit of an insight from your own words, like, obviously New Zealand born, go back to Samoa, and then just the whole experience. If you can tell us.
Oh man, culture shock, big time. You know, I've heard these stories from my mother and father at the time, telling me the struggles, what they went through. And here's me rolling my eyes like, yeah, dramatic. Guess what? I went there and loved it, bro. And they weren't lying. Man, my mother used to tell me, like, man, no, I used to be complaining about my lunch. Just back in my day, we only had a banana. Now I'm like, here we go. You know, try and make the, you know, dramatic story here. And he goes, no, you know, sometimes we have coconut, but if we're lucky, we can get the yellow biscuits. Which were, I think, $1 or $2, which is gold. Man, I went there and I went to school there. Bro, that was when I was living pretty good. I'd get the yellow biscuits. I got to see it. I'm like, man, my mom wasn't joking about these situations. I had to cut like bananas, like a whole bunch of bananas. I'll cut it and I'll hide it and I'll stash it somewhere so no one knows. So when I'm hungry, I'll go up there and eat heaps of bananas. Yeah, crazy, yeah. So I got to actually go through it, and I had a different level of respect for my parents when they came back. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I put you guys through this. Like, it must have been very hard for you guys. Flying over here. My mother was very, very young. She was only 19 at the time. My father was a couple of years older than her, and he lacked in English as well, so... It's quite hard, you know, it's different. The system nowadays, they didn't have like Ubers and all that stuff where it'll be a whole lot easier now. But man, like I gave big props to them, you know. But that journey there, it was a very humbling journey. I was dreading it as well. You know, when I was there, I hated it. Because, you know, when we're over here, we have our cousins that come straight from Samoa. Cousins come from Tonga or, you know, Niue, Cook Islands, you name it. Straight from the islands. They have a hard time at school, right? They get laughed at. Man, that's the total opposite over there. They laugh at me because I lack in Samoan. And the reverse psychology that they had over there, it blew me away because I was like, man, I used to tease these people. I used to tease my people like that. Like, what an idiot. And now they're laughing at me. I'm the laughing stock because I don't know how to speak Samoan. So, you know, I'm in a village where no one knows how to speak Samoan. No one knows how to speak English. So, I'm a New Zealand born who could only understand but couldn't speak it. So it was quite tough for me going to school because I'm from New Zealand. They actually thought that I'm from the land of, money,
Mukinani,
so we get bullied at schools by the prefects, and it's okay. The culture and Samoa schooling is different. So I got to go through it, and it was quite tough. But as I said, how I hated it.
So they would fuss you, the prefects?
I went through the whole thing. No, the teachers too. I got my ass beat a lot by the teachers. Like the school system there, it's quite bad. Like, when I wagged school, I was the only wagger in Samoa. Like real, I was the only wag because no one wags there.
Yeah. Wow.
And you wonder why they're very smart, very poko people. But it's just a language barrier. But man, they're very smart people when you go out there in the maumanga and the plantations, survival, like very smart. I feel so stupid around them. And here's me thinking I was better than them. But man, I had a different level of respect for the people when I came back. I was like, hey, and they goes, oh, that guy's a fob. Hey, I might be a fob, but man, he's the man. He'd probably be a smart dude. But I never counted that out. So it was an experience, bro. But how I said I didn't like it. It wasn't enjoyable when I was there because of the stuff I went through. But I was grateful later. I got to understand what my family tree. And I wondered where my aunties come from. Oh, yeah, that's my auntie. Oh, that's my uncle. That's my uncle. But didn't realize what part of the tree they come from. So grateful for those things. Got to hear myths and stories of my family. Got to share moments of my grandparents while they were alive. So, these things I can't get back anymore. So, but they'll be forever with me. So, just having a level of mindfulness, manners. How we're Samoan people, we come from a lot of respect. So, I got to learn a lot of that type of stuff. So, it was an experience, bro. I got to learn a lot about our culture, our food, you name it. I got to learn how to speak as well. It's quite a journey.
What a journey, man! But I love the storytelling. Yeah, you graduated just, bro. Also, just props, man. You just you intertwine all those lyrics together, and then you got the video clip that just coincides with the actual lyrics. I was like, my goodness, because I can only imagine. Obviously, you're New Zealand born. And back in the days, I totally agree. We see people from the islands, oh, what a fob. Yeah. It's a fob. And sometimes, and I can just imagine you going there, it's all reversed, like, oh, I can't speak Samoan. But coming back and having a new level of respect for our people, but also not only just our people, but for the culture. Yeah. So how did that impact you when you come back home? How did you see the world? Obviously, your world would have changed. In terms of the hood, Otara, how did you how do I implement what I've learned there and try and kind of convey it to our people here or our brothers and sisters over here?
See, I didn't come back as an angel. Sorry. The story didn't stop there. Sorry. I didn't come back as an angel. I came back whalongaka. It only lasted for like a couple of months. Then I was back to it again. Back with the gang.
Back with the boys.
Back with the boys. So it rubbed off quite fast. I was quite influenced by all the boys again, and like, bro, it's good to see you again. And I'm like, man, I told them all the stories, like, hey, man, what I got to see over there, But the level of appreciation was still there, like, and also the values, like, as much as being a gangster, a Samoan gangster, Samoan values still come and play. A mother might come out and sorry, Tina, I'll come back later. It's these little things like, these are the things that have been taught by our parents and our grandparents. But, I came back out, I still, trialing out life still, just come back from another place where there's hardly anything and I'm back into more of everything now. And I'm like trying to learn as a kid, a bit of balance. But, but this is all part of the journey, learning the balance balance everything. But yeah, I was just a kid still learning, really. And it wasn't easy. Also, came back, I'd grown up. Yeah, it was still tough. It was still tough. Also, like that's why I had to go through that phase of unpacking all those things, like because it was still going. Like as much as I went to Samoa and picked up cultural aspects, I was still, still learning who I was. But as the years went by, I started picking up, and all right, cool, and then utilizing, trying to be more authentic, more me, more Samoan as possible, drinking, eating, living Samoan as much, and that was me. Like, I influenced the Vailima scene, brought up and made Vailimas pop off here. And now we had them selling in every shop now, and that's what it was. And I wanted to drink Samoan drinks. So we had our own now, before we utilized the US as our pinnacle, as our standard. But now, I was proud of our culture. I knew what we wanted, what I wanted from us. So I just utilized that. And yeah, bro, it was a mish. It was a bit of still a tough journey during that time. I was in my teens, so, our young adult age, so still trying to discover things, really. So it wasn't an easy ride through. I was still going through the rocky stages, still trying to find it. But yeah.
Man, that's so cool, because obviously, you can see, like you said, also, it was kind of like life changing. Obviously, you come back to your habitat, obviously in the hood, Otara, and like, oh, okay, the boys are back. Okay, kind of switch back into to what I used to live, and you kind of, okay, I'm back into the gang again. But in terms of our culture, in terms of being Samoan, do you think there's a strong element in terms of healing around our culture? Because you hear all the time now, well-being, wellness, mental well-being. But is there something about our culture, or more so in terms of Samoan culture, is there an element or a major part of our Samoan culture that can actually bring forth healing or well-being for our men?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. We can, but I don't think there's enough of it. Also the perceptions of men held in our culture, because in Samoa we're being told to be the ulus of the aiga, the head of the family. But we've got to be mindful of those that came before them, that taught them, who were the ones coaching my old man to be a leader. Really, he didn't have anyone as well. But there's an expectation of, the man should always be right. But, sometimes our men and our family, the ulus of the aiga, are unhealthy. So that's where our mothers step in and become backbones. We utilize the backbone. But I think some things need to change. We need to be more realistic. I've seen this conversation being brought up. A man mentioned about mental health services in Samoa, and there's a lot of crazy stuff that our people go through, but just having those services, because our people don't talk about them, I seen the commentary on that. Everyone laughed about it. They made a mockery about the guy's suggestion, but I know that is required heavily. Like, I could talk more about the situations with our people, but I don't want to mention it. You know what I mean? So it's needed. It's needed. We need to change the approach. The days and the times are changing, so we need to sort of adapt to what's going on today, and not be in denial, because there's a whole lot of denial in there, and it's crazy. So that's why I utilize my music to tell those stories, in a sense of music, because where it's not aggressive and people can understand, all right, cool, he's just telling it through a story. But yeah, it's just, that's how I utilized it. But there's a lot of issues that fall in our culture. But, we're not perfect. But I just hope there's more of our brothers and sisters out there that sort of step up, and shed more light into our culture within the mental health system. Like, it's quite insane with what I feel sorry for the children, what they have to deal with. Now, Samoa's taking on another situation, which is dealing with internet. Our people are not from the internet. We're navigators. We utilize the stars in the skies. Now, people are losing the value of hard work now. You know, but just the simplest things, like now we use these devices to think for us when we forget to think. Instead of pulling our phone out to answer for us, now we like, back then we used to think, oh, bro, I wonder if the bro's at home. Now I wonder if the bro's home.
Just take some energy.
Who's you? Like that. It's just lazy. Like, we're just losing a lot, you know what I mean? But, I mean, we just need to adapt to what's in front of us, because there's a lot there, and I'm mindful of it, you know, but I'm just trying to push it through the music, and whether they can help out in some, you know, raise these conversations. But yeah, I know there's a lot there, but it's going to require a village to actually try and put that in place. But I hope that some of those things get put into play to help our people, especially our babies that are coming up now. Yeah, just there's a lot of things, you know. When I went back to Samoa, I got to see kids with UE booms. They were playing Kendrick Lamar, playing J. Cole. And I know they also didn't know what those bars meant, but it sounded cool. Or it's on a TikTok story, you know what I mean? And that's how they're influenced. You know, where a lot of our people from back in our time, from my cloth, a lot of the islanders that flew over worked so hard. They appreciated the dollar. Where now, a lot of the generation now are okay with being temps, being shipped around to jobs, different jobs. They're okay with that. So the system has changed. So I think, yeah, I just hope that, but, you know, we just need to adapt, really. Like, and I hope a lot of people just step up and start, you know, helping out where it's required. But I know there's a lot there. And that's a big conversation, really. That's a huge conversation, and a real deep one. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot. We can talk about religion, church.
Man.
Well, you know what I mean? That's one. Let's go. Hey, I might get in trouble. I might get in trouble in my church session on Sunday. I still go to churches. Love it. But yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, there's church, you know, and how islanders perceive churches. Like, you know, and then financial issues. How much are we spending at church? Sometimes we spend a lot because it's all about what other people think that we're putting in. And the thing is that churches are lowing out how much you give into the church. Like, yeah, and not realizing that what it took for that family to give that money, and now they got empty cupboards. Like, that's an issue there, but if I mention it, everyone will give me the death stare. You know what I mean? But there's some things we can't explain. And they just normalized it in their lives. You know what I mean? It's normal. So nowadays, in regarding that, like, I have these chats with my parents. Oh, man. Oh, they're in trouble. I funga them hard out, now, so they can't get away with anything now. So, you know, when we're kids, go to church. I'm a local. But now I'm a man of church now. Oh, anything that, you know, they try and put their values. Hey, but God said this and this and that. Like, yeah, you're right. Listen, hey, and I hold them accountable. But, you know, certain things like little bad habits. We've got an underage child, niece, granddaughter, at home, probably 8 years old, and left at home. I'm just going to go up the road, and don't answer the door. Things like that. Like, that needed to change. Like, my mother did it. Sorry, Mum. My mum did it a while back, but I had to tell her, hey, we can't do that no more. I know you did that with us, but don't do it anymore. And she's like, why? We just went up the road. I said, dude. He goes, we only were like 5 minutes. I said, I know, but within those 5 minutes, if someone snatched up that kid, or SIFs came through and took their baby, you're going to be crying the loudest. You're going to be crying with your mouth open, as a matter of fact. You know what I mean? But let's prevent that from happening, please, by making better decisions. And the cool thing about my mom, she took it on the chin. She said, you're right. Nah, that's cool. And that's just explaining it to them thoroughly. instead of just explaining things to them to be a feel boko. You know what I mean? So yeah. There's a lot of stuff we could talk about in regarding our culture. Yeah, but it's a very, very deep conversation that needs to be that we need to have, and I don't think like we need to. Yeah, it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, but that's a great question, Us, and that's a tough one. Like really.
Yeah. No, man, good. I appreciate your thoughts also.
Yeah,
and it is. You're absolutely right. Also, it's gonna take. It's not one of those quick fixes. You think, oh, it's just a magic wand, and it's just it's all sorted. It's going to take a lot of people, and it could be, I don't know, it could be.
Or you can even
decades.
actually have someone that's from a different culture, and you trying to explain to them, they're like, why are you doing that? I'm like, yeah, I can't explain it to you. Like, it's something that's going to be hard to explain to you because this is how our culture has been raised through generations. And they're like, they don't add up. And I said, I know. I didn't get it either.
Just all the unpeeling, there's just so much to unpeel and unpack, like you say.
Yeah.
But nah, man, thank you. So this, it is. It's something that a lot of people need to talk about, but not just our culture, but several cultures. In New Zealand. So yeah, man, appreciate that. Even the religious ones, but church and all. That's another one. That's another massive conversation.
Yeah. That's a different conversation now. See, look, with me now with church, I'm having a better understanding now. So within those years, we're there singing these hymns, because we love singing, you know what I mean? And catching up with the boys, doing White Sunday. No, but why does White Sunday have to turn out to be something really dreadful? Like a lot of people scared.
Man, tell me, man, also. That was one of the worst, like, every time I came to that month, man, I used to dread it when they give me the pipa for...
And you probably would have had 10 pipas saved, minimum.
I used to dread the 2 pages of... I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I would memorize all this, the kauluku, and I would have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't know what I was talking about. And so, but when you look at your moms, you connect eyes with your eye contact with your mom and your dad. Oh my gosh, you have to perform, man.
I'm performing without not even looking at them. I'm looking in the air, my actions on my hands. I ain't even trying to make contact with nobody, also especially my mom. Bro, that death stare, I can feel it. Man. Yeah, bro. But honestly, it's crazy. Like, yeah. But just grateful for it, grateful for the lessons now. So that's why I love learning more about it because I'm trying to implement it in my life every day. So try and walk close to it.
Also. And you're right, also. I look back now, like, bro, even though I dreaded those times, and especially that month, but I think back now that, man, I love that. I really I appreciate the music and the singing and the songs and the hymns. Like, that was some good singing, some good times. But you can look back now and laugh now. But back then, I was like, oh my gosh. Because the 5-year-old would be like, hey,
yeah.
I was like, oh man, some of us would say some literal beatings. Like, hey, if you don't get it right, man. Like,
oh man, that's another trigger. You know what I mean? That's another trauma that we have to face. Hey, but hey.
But yeah, that's for part 2.
That's part 2. So that's for another. Yeah,
that's another therapeutic session.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'm getting triggered all of a sudden. Hey, good times.
Man, the challenges that you've identified, like these are generational things. Like traditions that have spanned generations. Society's changed so much. Like just the context, because society is always changing, things like the values are interpreted differently. They're practiced differently. Like discipline back in the day is different from discipline now.
No, yeah.
Excuse me.
No, yeah.
And it was just interesting when you mentioned technology, because I imagine that's one of the biggest new things that's come in, where it's just turned things on its head again, and now it's a matter of reshuffling. And trying to understand ourselves within this new context. And you're right, who has the answers, really? Like, no one person has all the answers. And again, that's something else, is taking in other people's opinions and how do you sift through to find truth? Because these days, everyone has their own truth.
Their own answers.
Yeah. And just thinking about, you mentioned technology and how, we were navigators, and now we can look people up online and see where they're at. Do you think there are dangers at taking shortcuts toward solutions? Because that's one of the things that technology has brought us, is that it's helped us solve some problems, but some of these solutions, actually, we probably haven't thought about them as much as we should have before we implemented them. And then that creates more problems. But yeah, it just made me think about that sense of discovery that we've lost, that sense of adventure. When it was like, oh, we'll go to our mate's place after school and we'll just rock up and be like keen on a game on the road, like have it spark up a game of touch or whatever. And now it's like, they'd rather just be at home on their phone swiping. And it kind of makes me sad that there's the sense of adventure that's been lost. And I have a mate that's a high school teacher, and he said, back in the day, it was like sports at lunchtime. Like everyone's sparking up a game. But now he's like, no one wants to play because they'd all rather just jam on their phones. I just like, damn, like who would have thought when I was in school that this would be an issue? Because we just thought, we had the old school phones. It was cool to have a phone.
I did.
Like, man, now I can call my friends whenever. That's cool. Yeah. But now it's evolved into, I have to see what my friends are doing 24/7. I have to create something so that my friends will think I'm cool and give me a like. And it's just crazy how it can help in some ways, but there is a flip side. Yeah.
Yeah. See, back in the day, whatever I went through, you would have went through it. Whatever I had issues with, you would have heard about it. And I would have told you. Or I'm like, man, like troubles at our home. Like we're sharing issues with each other. Like, man. Oh man, give me a hiding last night. Why? Because of this and that. And damn. And then we learning from each other. But yeah, it totally is, bro. It takes all the fun out. And that's what I love about our generation. Every other generation before the technology came in, we had an imagination. And that's what keeps me going. So my imagination and my writing, but I eventually just turned it into my truth. But that's the exciting thing. I miss those times. Those are the times where I engage with my friends. That's why I feel like I know my friends. Like people throw their friend card around quite easily, and it's a friend from Facebook that you've never met, but I like your posts, and that's a friend requirement. I'm going to consider that as a friend.
Oh, you got 10,000 friends,
right? Yeah, for real. But how many of them were going to buy your album?
Yeah.
So that's how crazy it is. Like it's those things. Like. I'm grateful for that, an imagination, went outside and we didn't have anything. The thoughts of grabbing a stick from a branch and how that becomes a sword, how that becomes a gun. We're just running around shooting each other. There's no bullets coming out, but, you're pretending you're in it and you're getting hit by it. It's these things, but now people don't get excited over these things, There were more active people, more active. We were playing sports back then, we didn't have these devices. So to be honest, I'm actually grateful that I didn't come up on that. Oh man, imagine if we had cameras on our time. I would have been arrested today. I wouldn't be here. So that's what I mean. So it's those things. But yeah, man, I feel bad for them. I really, really do. So I just hope parents come up with some solutions, come up with some plans, because it's getting to the point that they're stripping them off and the reactions of it though, like when you strip them off your technology, see them just lose it really aggressive, and it's so sad that our kids can't live without them, you know what I mean, and just can't do the simple things, like just to think, or even but yeah, it's again like they gotta worry about what other people think of them. It's a game, we got a profile pic. It's like that, we gotta make sure my profile pic looks pimping for everyone to see what I'm doing. But it's a whole facade, man. Like, everyone's on there talking about their highlights, what they got, how much money they got, where they at, where they go for holidays at. So but how about the situations you're going through? How come you didn't highlight that? How come you don't talk about how broke you are? But everyone don't show that thing, because that's the internet for you. It's about showing off and what you have better than everybody else. Like, but yeah, agree on that stuff. So I try and stay away from it. That's why I really think that it's quite poisonous in certain areas. But I truly believe it's useful in certain areas. But majority, I think, is quite poisonous. Out here in the social media platforms as well, what they put out there, the content. Like even me trying to put out my song "Tin City," I put my video up. They're charging me $20 to get to another 300 followers, extra followers. But imagine the content that's actually shaking booties and all the bad stuff. They play that on the radio 24/7. So it's quite a toxic industry. They just want they want that out there. They want the kids to see that. You know what I mean? So it's really depends on our parenting as well. Coaching them at a real young age, preparing them. I see a lot of parents giving devices to children really, really young, but minds are not mature enough to actually inherit that information, or they have access to everything. Like, it's crazy. Back then we could only access porn through videos, VCR, magazines. Now you can just access it through your fingers. You can access it. You can be a young kid and jump on it. Like, that's how bad it is. So yeah, gift and a curse, I reckon. But I don't see no good in it. I think it's quite bad. But I'm a musician. I have to jump on these platforms and just to keep my fans, going and let them, build awareness of what's happening. But yeah, if I had it my way, I wouldn't even want to jump on it. Yeah, to be honest. But yeah, it is what it is, and it really depends on how you use it and what the platform for. If it's just building awareness, putting your content out, then yeah, good. But for the other reasons, it's time consuming, and time is money. People don't realize that they're wasting time by spending too much time on the phone instead of prioritizing time for it. I've got to be on here for an hour and that's about it.
It's such an addiction, eh?
It is. It's an insane addiction. You know what I mean? Even vapes. Look at vaping now. Vaping is crazy now. Before you create an addiction through nicotine, and you get this habit. Now you're creating a habit of just putting something in your mouth without no nicotine.
I think there's a documentary on Netflix about that, and from the preview I remember seeing that the creators wanted to battle nicotine, and they had really good intentions,
right?
But seeing how it's spiraled now, and young kids can get access to it, and now there's new health problems that have come from it. Like, it's just crazy how if these things are not kept in check, if you're not disciplined with them, they can easily roll the other way.
Totally. And you could tell that they never thought that far. They didn't think they're going to have that problem, but here we are, and it can be a bit tough.
Man, you've touched on this. You've said these words specifically a few times now. Thick skin, developing thick skin, and it seems like there's almost a gratitude for the hardship you've come through, and because it's developed this thick skin for you, where you don't let things get to you. You can keep your head on your shoulders and not be too emotional, not take things personal. And, in the world today where there's cancel culture and it's, you shouldn't say anything offensive. Is it a scary thing to know that our generation coming up don't get opportunities to build that thick skin? Or is it that they're building thick skin in new ways? Or, are they in more danger because they don't, there are shortcuts to everything now, including their hardship and their trials. Yeah,
you have people who can speak up and talk about what they went through. Like myself, we can do that. Where we had to fall on our face in order to discover that or how it felt. Like, someone could have warned us, but we still go through it. Too late, bro. Tripped over. But it's that, we learned from our trials back then. Our leaders wanted us to fall on our face and and feel what it feels like, But now we have these safety nets. Like, I don't want my baby to go through, and it's maybe something really, really small that they need to go through. It's not harming them, but it's just a certain emotion that they're gonna feel, And it's going to be okay though, where a lot of our parents now are like, no, I don't want my baby to go through that. No, it's going to hurt her. This and that. Or it's going to hurt him. But, some of these things we need to teach them in certain areas, like, hey, all right, the value of the dollar, things like that, hard work, bringing to those values, communication, teaching your children how to communicate, because, I grew up not knowing how to communicate. Until now, like, I want to try and try and teach them, because I want to make their life a whole lot easier, and not go through what I went through. So the thing is that my children see me go for therapy. And the thing is that I want to show them that I'm trying. I want to be better. I want to be a better man. I want to be a better brother. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better son. So my kids, they see me dedicate time. I'm like, all right, cool. Oh, you off to your appointment? Off to my appointment. All right, cool. Good luck. I'll say, oh, good. And then when I come back, they check in. How was it? It was good. What did you guys talk about? Oh, just personal stuff, but it's okay. I feel good today. And it's, oh, that's good. It's just telling them about my progress, and showing them what I'm doing as a father to grow and adapt with them, But nowadays, I just try and help them out as much as possible. I've been through a whole lot of life, and I don't want them to go through it as well. No parent wants their children to go through that. So, I teach them life lessons a lot, I still bring old values because I'm still cut from that cloth of old, but learning how to talk to them, because they grow up. So they, some of them, now my kids are young adults now. So now I have to ask, not demand. I'm from my parents, they didn't ask, they demand. Go wash those dishes. And the response was ugly. The response was, roll something underneath your tongue. But, the difference is, and I started talking to my children, hey, darling, can you wash those dishes, please? And they're like, yeah, sure, Dad. Yeah, all good, because you get a different response. And I'm saying, oh, sweet, see? And then at the same time, I'm teaching my parents to say, hey, don't demand. I'm a 40-year-old man now, hey, just ask me and I'll do it. Okay. But, that's, again, we're just teaching them. Again, repacking and just showing them how to redo it again, and it's been a bit of a tough thing, but I just try and teach them as much as I can, and utilizing culture again, bringing how my grandparents taught me, how my parents taught me, and bringing that sense of value towards it, because I know they're going to lack, because now they're lacking culture. And, a lot of kids are going to be asking, my kids are going to be asking, oh, Dad, why didn't you teach us all this stuff? I'm saying, oh, yeah, cool. I don't throw it on my children. It's just when they're ready to have that discussion, because it's a journey, and then I just teach them, be with them and be supportive. That's the difference. I just want to be there and just support them and make sure they get across that line. I didn't have that support system back then. My support system were OG gang patch members, and those were the people that I looked up to. And these people sold drugs, heaps of money, and that was the influence to me. I was like, oh man, I want to be like that guy, And he used to break me off something, yeah, what's the thing? It's it's OG. So the leaders I had around were not the best leaders, but grateful of them. But I wanted to be that person for my children, the babies that I'm influencing around them. So I always make sure they're okay, or if there's any way that I could get them home or whatnot, or assist them. So yeah, just making sure that the transition is a whole lot easier, smoother, not so hard, But yeah, just got to be mindful of them and how it works these days. So the approach changes. I have to approach them in a way where they could respond back, and it's been good though. It's been really good, but I know that they're gonna have a hard time nowadays because of what's ahead of them. The internet and all this stuff. So it is what it is. Just find out. Just got to be there and support them as much as possible.
Well said also. And as like you said before, just being able to just change the approach, but also being able to adapt. Yeah. And just like you're saying, just in terms of communication, how do we deal with this new generation, so to speak? And obviously, you talked about therapy and our young people. I wanted to just touch on your music therapy and the young people that you work with. And I know you touched a little bit on it early on in terms of getting young people who are great, maybe very good musically, but also be able to write music and to write songs, compose songs that are genuinely from inside, from the heart. And so tell us a little bit about your music therapy and what you do, because it's amazing.
Yeah, the music therapy is pretty much a workshop for all the students that who are interested in music, understanding the industry, and also guiding them. So it's sort of like an 8-week course where I go through different styles of hip hop, the different generations as well. Also, the purpose of hip hop, the messages, teaching them about the core values of writing music with your heart and not getting caught up with the views, the clicks, the likes, the things that sort of distract you from your creativity, away from the machine. I mean, so just teaching them how to write music with what the situations that are happening at home, or maybe happening at someone else's house, or just trying to get them to actually talk about their truth and sort of find solace within those situations that they go through. So, you know, myself being a person of influence in my neighborhood, coming back and running these programs, you know, I've got a few accolades under my belt that the kids love, and it's been cool being a person of influence and actually influencing them as much as possible, running these workshops. But you know, our kids are they're vision learners. You know, you gotta show them. So I go through this whole 8 weeks with them, showing them the requirements of a music artist, where it's writing content to preparing yourself to the radios, getting ready for camera work, videos, the whole nine. So, you know, I take my students out to a studio session. It might have taken like 7 hours, but they're tired. They're falling asleep in the room. I'm like, so are you sure you guys want to be musicians? And they were like, what? We've been here for 7 hours. He said, yeah, but you guys only recorded one song each. So imagine if you were here 7 hours by yourself and you had to record an album. I'm like, oh. And they were like, yeah, they were like stressing out. I said, yeah, everyone wants to hit the Tupac level, but don't want to do the job. They don't want to do don't want to do the hard yards. I said, everyone's quick to actually get to the end zone, but not realizing it's the journey that makes it enjoyable, you know. So, yeah, just teaching them about these things. They get to experience studio time. Also, go over to radio stations, and I teach them about preparation and how it's key. So, you know, we might be in the lobby in the radio station, and I'm talking to my students and say, what are the questions they're going to ask us? And they're like, they're going to ask us about the album. I was like, all right, who's going to answer that? And he goes, I will. And I was like, cool. So what are the questions that they're going to ask? He goes, are they going to ask about our names? I said, yeah, cool. So what are you guys going to say? He goes, I've sussed this out. And I said, cool. So these are the things. So I sort of just get them ready and show them that preparation is key, even to being on stage. There'll be moments where people are like, hey, you need to jump on now, and or last minute, and you have to be ready. So it's those things, you know, and then we get to record an album, and we release it. They get to take their photo shoots as well and feel like $1 million. You know, they become superstars and feel like stars, and that's what it's all about, right? So I just take them through their journey, and man, it's helped out a lot of kids from South Auckland. I've had a lot of kids just travel from far. I had a student travel from West Auckland just to Otara, just to come and do this program, and he caught an Uber. Crazy. So that kid, every time he come through, I'll be like giving him the time of day. I said, bro, and I would tell all the Otara kids, hey, look at this guy. He traveled from West to this. And so what's your guys' excuse? And he's the man. So everyone respected him so much. All the Otara kids embraced him. And became one of the family. So yeah, it's just going through the whole process with them, showing them what's important, teaching them about contracts, teaching about, it could be might be in the class, and then say, for instance, they also want to jump on the song. I said, yeah, but have you written the contract? And then they go away and write contracts. Does that look all right? I said, give it to them. and they'll give it and you'll sign off, and it's sweet then. So that's an official feature. This is business. And I'm like, oh, true. And I said, so without that paperwork, and also decides that he wants to take more of a percentage and takes you to court, that's your paperwork to cover your butt. And they're like, man. And these are the things I got to teach them about. These are the things that they don't know. Exactly. And it's a doggy dog word out there also. But that's when your motives are not aligned. You know, when your motive is based on money, fame, all of that. So, you know, that's when the expectation is based on that. But when really you want to find peace within music to heal a certain emotion, that's how I look at it. And I try and teach our kids that. So it's crazy, you know, get them on the big stage as well. They perform, do sets. I even had kids who had disabilities jump on there and stole the night. Yeah, and you know, some of the kids with disabilities, they might not be able to write or create music, but we do like, all right, cool. Since we can't do that, but you know, they got good memory banks. So they were like, oh, but I love that Eminem song. I said, all right, cool. That's the mish. You're going to perform that song. I'm like, all right, sweet. And so what I do around it is get the instrumentation, you know, for those sorts to rap. And I'll be the BV guy. And I say, hey, you rap lead. I'll be at the back. Don't worry. I got you. And knowing that you're going to support them, they're going to go handy. You know, they're going to go hard. So, and also just a little, you know, in the beginning before the show starts, hey, still prayer. Oh, yeah, and you know, just pray for them and say, hey, pray, make sure, you know, be the hype man, Lord. You know, be out there and guide these kids. Rock, you know, let these guys shut it down tonight. So, you know, they do that. And then praising them again, saying, prayer. That was an awesome performance. And yeah, man, and watch them just come back. They just keep going. So some of their students now, they're still going to this day, still rapping. I'm still going over to see their performances. I'm visiting, still catching up with them. Yeah. So that's the Movement Music Academy program. And they get awarded, they get fed, they get merch, they get it's one of those things. And then they have an album that's on a streaming platform that'll be there forever. So they can always show to their family members, hey, look, I'm on this album. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So if people want to find out more about it, they can just Google it and
yeah. So the organization is called Move Communities. So based it on we got a few programs out there in Otara, and also in schools. Also now we'll be starting some new programs out in Brisbane and Gold Coast. Yeah,
man on a mission. It's really cool. I think honestly, you've done a really great job on giving examples in terms of, you know, you had touched on the importance of looking at the man in the mirror and being your own best competition, and then hearing you talk about the programs and seeing why that's so important and giving a real life context to the students that you're working with. I think is so amazing. And so one of the things I'm curious about is, with so much going on, what do you see on the horizon for yourself in the future, 5-10 years from now? What are some of your bigger ambitions from here?
To own my own clinic that has a community hub that I run, and it has my workshops, arts, crafts, you name it. It's a huge safe space. Everyone that knows me knows that I've been aiming for this for quite some time. And doing the groundwork, like all of this stuff, is my direction to it. You know, like it's that. So I'm just doing all this stuff to get closer to that goal. So I want to have a clinic in my hometown where they can see us Move Communities, and then they have a psychologist there who can tap in cultural aspects, religion views to financial issues amongst our people. And also goes back to the conversation about our the mental health within our culture. These are the things that we need to have, you know, within our communities, because it's not mentioned enough around our people. Our people don't talk about it as much, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. You know what I mean? So that's the goal. I want to have a clinic. I just want to be everywhere and just help out as much as possible. yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanna own a clinic, bro. Yeah. But I know it sounds out the gate, but
Oh man,
we
no,
get this.
no,
I'll
man,
get
not
there.
out the gate. Also, that's what's required. I think a lot of our people need to hear that, and people might think, "Oh, well, that's a bit of a reach, bit of a stretch," but we need to strive for goals like that.
Yeah.
We need to
Totally.
strive for goals like that, and especially our young ones. Like, man, oh man, if the movement is doing that, man, we need more people. Like you said early on, we need more people to step instead of being spectators. To say, hey, I need to jump in, I need to join in, I need to be part of the collective to really push these positive things that there should be should be in our communities. Also, man, that's so impressive, man. So impressive.
Thank you. Also.
The work that you do, man. So it is if it's fitting, your name, the movement. It is.
I was literally thinking the same
movement,
thing.
man.
Like, it's so
that
fitting,
is
like,
the movement. That jeez.
talk about being real and being true. Like, man.
Yeah. That's the whole goal, bro. I'm just trying to keep it true as possible.
Jeez, says only if you're looking for a caretaker, man. I'm just
You can't think, hey, management, this guy. Hi, can you hire me, please?
Oh man, but I love it. I love the whole concept. I love the clinic. I love that what you're doing with the young people. Everything, like from contracts and also the music, but also keeping them passionate about the producing the music, the creativity around the music, instead of like, okay, I have to do all this, the contractual issues and all that kind of stuff. But I love it that you still you need to understand this.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, culture, all that. But if you're in the system and this is the white man's world, you need to know this. You need to be informed. And I love that you do this for our young people, man.
And also, the stigma of, the anxiety of people going into these rooms when it's dominated by the opposite color. But, the anxiety they have, they walk in and they belittle themselves and think they're unworthy to be in the room. But I know that sort of, it's been around for so long. But, I can walk in those rooms and hold myself in high regard, that I know what I'm talking about, to the point that they give me their look like, but I'm laughing. I'm like, what? It's not supposed to sound like that. All right. Oh, well, you're going to have a hard time today.
Not today.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Because, again, it goes back to self-worth. Like, I know a lot of our people get scared of words. Certain words get mentioned. They're like, what does that mean? They start panicking. But it's just knowing your worth, just going into the room and what you provide, what you can give them. And, and that's true power, I reckon, just having power within yourself and knowing your worth. And I know there are a lot of people lacking certain areas like that, but it's a journey, it's a journey whether you try and tap into that. And it's a big one. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, I love also. It's just been profitable. This the word that comes to my mind is profitable. The conversation that we were talking about, your experiences, your past, your journey, obviously the end zone. You talked about the end zone, the clinic, and just the big vision around it. Also, man, I am, like I said from the onset, very proud. Because from the hood. I remember being Dawson and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Otara boys, and so, bro, just the work that you're doing, and the gusto and the heart to pursue it, but also the passion around it, and it is, you can never go wrong when it's for the good of men, for the betterment of men and mankind. And so also all the best, man.
Thank
also
you.
Props to you and to all those who support you, man. My Lord love so full, so. My Lord,
Thank
you. My cup has been filled. Filled tonight, man.
Bless.
For sure, 100%. Us.
Thank you for having me.
Jay, no.
No, honestly, it's been a real pleasure, and I was so excited because I was like, man, from Otara, like, these are I'm currently living in Otara on Beards Road, right around the corner from the town centre.
What? Boys,
So I have a lot of love for Otara, and there's some really great community initiatives going on there that I'm so proud of, and it's just cool to hear someone so real who's lived through it and still has a lot of love to give back. And honestly, I'm just blown away by how much you're able to give back. Like, I just think it's such a gift, and it's so amazing that you're able to give so much of yourself, but you still be so grounded. Like, you never, you've never given off a vibe that you've ever wavered or forgotten who you are. Like, the values are instilled in you so much that even when you might swerve right, you're still grounded. Like, there's some learning there. And, you know, you talked a little bit about your vision for the clinic, and I think based on your experience and everything you've shared so far, you're laying the groundwork as you speak, and it's inevitable that you're going to get there. So just big ups on the album, the music, the storytelling. Like, I just think, you know, we've always been orators, storytellers, and I think the fact that you're able to do so in a world that changes, sticking to your values, but also leveraging the mediums that you have.
That's right. Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah, man.
True. Real. This is
The real, man.
So
The
I
real,
love it,
brother.
man. Just big ups. Thank you so much for
Appreciate
sharing
it
the
also.
time with us this evening. Honestly.
It's a blessing to be here, especially the platform that you guys have provided here, because we need more spaces like this. And I knew, coming back home, I knew I had to touch base, because I'm a huge fan of you guys' platform, and I've been watching it from Australia, so we're all over there watching it as well. So kudos to you guys for doing an awesome job and providing a space, because honestly, there's not many out there. And also have like-minded brothers, you know, that you could actually trust and actually, you know, speak safely around, you know, and knowing that you can be guided, you know, and looked after. So honestly, really, really appreciate you guys for this. And it's long over, you know, it's about time, long overdue, bro.
man.
So it's been a minute. So I'm glad and happy to come through here. And honestly, if there's anything that you guys need from me, shoot it through. I'll come through also.
Oh man, thank you so much. Also, hey, we never let our guests go empty-handed, and so we always give them a gift. So we always do a bit of a cartoon, bit of a caricature of our guests,
Nice.
how we envision them to be. Also,
Right. Okay.
So this is on behalf of the Mandate team. Also, this is for you.
Hey, thank you. Oh, bless. Hey, no way.
Yeah, man, thank you,
bro. Thank you. Oh, look at this thing.
Nah, man,
Come on, man. Look at this.
This for you.
This is good, bro.
Nah, man, thank you.
Awesome, man.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
We're really blessed. We're truly blessed tonight, also. And so we always give our. Just one more thing. Also, is there someone that you can think of that would be ideal to come on the podcast? You think just the tip of your head, like, or several people?
There is several people, but I think one of the ones will be Scribe. In regards of vulnerability, he's I love the also. I love his story and where he's headed now. You know what I mean? I know he went through his demons, you know, when everyone was judging him. I never let up one bit. I was behind him the whole time. You know, people make mistakes, but I know he's got a lot of experiences that people can sort of learn from. Like, 'cause he's been through a lot as well, and regarding like gangs as well, the life of drugs, also just life as a Samoan as well. And he's on a mission pretty much now. He's got guard recently. So he's more aligning with himself with the culture. So I think he'll be perfect. He'll be great. There's a lot. There's a lot out there. I think Scribble would have been the man. Pretty much.
Yeah, no, man. We get the Crusader, man.
Hey, I can tell you that it's doable.
Yeah, no, awesome, man. No, that's cool. We may have a chat after this, doesn't it?
Hey, don't worry, we can make that happen. Who's where you at?
No, thanks, Oos. Thank you so much. But we always give our guests the last words. Any last words of encouragement for our men out there also?
Again, focus on that mirror, clean that mirror, talk to that mirror. When you start your day off, maybe talk to yourself and see how you're feeling. Also, maybe praise yourself. Tell yourself you're the man, because no one else is going to tell it to you. You need to tell yourself that. You need to tell yourself how great you are, and just keep keep focusing on you. Try and be still.
Man, also, please, folks, please check out his new album, cut from a different cloth. But also, just support local music, support local artists out there. Props to the movement once again. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Look forward to your well thought out comments. And once again, also, Jamin,
Refine,
unlock,
and take charge.
Mandate.